Not the sports news is Romy Titus and her guests covering the world of sport from football to athletics, cricket, rugby, UFC, and Dambe wrestling. Live weekdays on omniaudio.africa, 8:30 a.m. Central African Time. Romy Titus is South Africa's leading face and voice on all the sports stories you want to hear about and talk about. Also live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Omni Audio Africa.
It is the Monday edition of Not the Sports News, and today I think I'm getting a cold. Why? Because it was back-to-back. It was football, there was tennis, there was rugby, there was Women's Africa Cup of Nations, and now I am congested because why? I don't know actually, because I just sat under a blanket at the fireplace with the television, and today I'm all snotty. But I'm here in living color with my really good cappuccino, ready to get into today's news because we are going to be starting with WAFCON, and Coach Dunga has been keeping a close eye on that. Coach, yet an analyst as well, and she will give us her forecast as to what does she think is going to happen. I also think at this stage, if you wanted to, you could kind of predict which way it is going to go. And how is South Africa doing? Is everything okay? And then again, you take a look at Nigeria. You take a look at hosts Morocco, who have really come out, because I do think that they've hosted back-to-back as well, which is in its own significant. The way they lost to Banyana Banyana is obviously... it's about revenge now, right? It's about coming back. I know that Ghislaine Chibak also makes it into the highest goal scorer in the competition so far. And they mean business. So I don't think that Banyana can take their foot off the pedal at any point. But please, if it is that you have anything, we are interactive. We are on the different social media handles. So go ahead and follow us. We're Omni Audio Africa on Insta, TikTok, as well as YouTube. Hit us up on Facebook. We're Omni Audio. So those are all of the platforms. I'm Romy Titus on all of those as well, if you want to reach out. But usually I'm called a granny. Or what was it the other day? Damn, I think. Why? Because I said that Osman Apollos would fit in better at Kaizer Chiefs. Only fit in better. That's all I said. But anyway, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I think to have the best conversation is to actually say the wrong thing. So keep it coming. Keep it coming. Coach Dunga, can you hear me? Coach Dunga is standing by, ready for this interview. She is on Zoom, so you'll get to see her. Coach cannot hear me, so maybe we will divert and maybe get Coach on the line. We'll phone you, Coach, instead of Zoom. So we'll give you a call. Coach says, no, that's good. She is here. She is on standby. So we're going to get Coach Dunga on the line. Another something that we're going to want to talk about, because I kind of lost faith. I wouldn't say faith, maybe. That's not a good word. Chutzpah. Yeah, I lost it. When all of the African teams bowed out of the FIFA Club World Cup. And then again, I've got all those questions about, yes, it's great to have all that money. And then I also just transcended to, why couldn't all that money that we saw at a FIFA Club World Cup trickle down into, let's say, a WAFCON? Not that I'm ungrateful at all, because money, the prize purse has increased for WAFCON, but not to the extent that we could actually say that it is on par with men's football. Nonetheless, Chelsea shocked PSG by 3-0, and that was in the final yesterday. And I know that the Chelsea fans are walking around with a little bit of, extra swag today. And how could it be? And if it is that that's who you had your money on, I really want to hear from you as well. So we'll ask him about that. We'll also ask him, Thokozisi Dube, whom we'll chat to after Coach Dunga, about how are the newbies at their different clubs finding their feet, and are they finding their feet? Coach, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, yay!
Morning.
Coach Dunga is on the line. Coach, I was just busy saying a WAFCON. How have you been finding this edition of WAFCON so far?
Very, very entertaining, very surprising, especially with regards to the standards of the previous teams that we would think perhaps they would be, the ones that would be pushed over. But I think everybody has just done their homework, and the games are very much entertaining, and it's really good for the standard of the game so far. I'm thoroughly impressed.
South Africa, let's zoom in there because there's so much to lose, right? I like what Coach Ellis said. She said, we are now being chased. We were chased, and now they are being chased at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, impressed by the games that they played, how they've played, obviously, and are they doing enough to defend their title?
I think the start of the tournament really was good because Coach Desiree had said that she would like for us to be able to start with getting all the 3 points, and that's exactly what we did. The second match, very jittery. I think a lot of people got surprised by the changes that the wholesale changes that she had made, especially with regards to the goalkeeping department. I think it was a big talking point. But so far, I think the biggest one where she can actually be able to just respond to to the conversations that have been had around the squad. It's tonight, really, in terms of how they will perform. I think performance-wise, they haven't been, the team that is coming back as the champions and very strong in how they're approaching matches. I think the struggle would be, like I said earlier, other teams have actually managed to pick themselves up, be able to watch what it is that their opponents are doing and be able to provide answers for that as well. So far, the performance, a little bit of ups and downs, not so consistent. And maybe that's what I'm saying tonight would be the one time where, the proper answer will be given, reasoning by Coach Desiree.
Why the ups and downs? Because as much as this game is physical, it is mental as
Yeah.
well. And that mental speed wobble, if you would, for me, comes from maybe the boardroom antics. I mean, Nigeria also spoke about, money issues. Zambia also
Yeah.
spoke. So, I mean, it's not like it is only South Africa that experience, let's say, financial difficulties or woes or whatever you want to put it as.
Yeah.
Is that is that is that like a mental glitch that can throw everybody? But then again, at this level of football, and you're saying the standard is high, I'm almost expecting this team to glide over it. I don't even want to say that it happens so often that we should become immune because no, we shouldn't. But it's almost
Yeah.
as if it's not the first time that this glitches happen. It's not the first time they've experienced it. Take a look at the FIFA World Cup, for example. And for me, it's almost like they're already immune. They're built so hard and strong and tough that anything and everything can bounce off of them. But maybe not. Maybe that is just me from the outside looking in and expecting so much.
I think in a way, Romy, you're saying exactly what we've all just been saying over the years. I mean, in 2010, when I was playing, we did have the same issues, financial issues. You just, you know, push them aside and say, okay, I'll talk about this at the end of the tournament. But now I just want to do what I need to be doing. But seemingly, some of the players over the years, as they grow, bigger and wiser and stronger, there is that mental challenge, in terms of actually being able to push things aside and being able to forge a path forward. I think that at some point, people will get to have a breaking point, I'm assuming, and it will affect how they are approaching matches or performances or even competitions like these ones. I think, it should be something that we shy away from as a nation, especially when we call Banyana Banyana or Bafana Bafana or even any of the sporting teams in our country as our pride. We need to actually, be proud of them and be able to support this pride that we are talking about completely and not
Yeah.
in half measures. So I'm assuming, the half performances or the inconsistent performances, it comes from that, players that are not necessarily um, finding joy in what they are doing, especially with the purpose or even the promises that were done or that were made prior to them coming into this competition. So I think a lot of those conversations need to not really be taking place during the competition stage. They need to have been spoken about months before,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
iron all these things out because when chips are down, everybody remembers that, oh yes, after all, you have not even paid these girls, you have not even done the dues that you were supposed to do. So what are you expecting? I think competitive stages, you look at all these other countries and those that you've mentioned as well, Romy, they are forging a path forward. Zambia is playing like we actually want to win. It's almost like the money factor is not the important part for them. The biggest thing is for them to do better, to get that trophy, to bring that pride back to Zambia. You look at Nigeria talking about Mission X as well.
Yeah.
They are also having their own financial woes, but how they are performing is statement to we actually want to complete Mission X. We've got something bigger that we want to achieve
But coach,
instead of all these distractions.
don't you think, I mean, maybe money is the motivator for Zambia
Yeah.
and Nigeria. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, so we've got some financial situation going on here, but let us win so that we can talk about even more money at the end of the day. But why does that have to be the motivator? Why can't I come and play football? Because I can play football, because
Yeah.
the money is already in the bank. Why is it almost as if they have to prove themselves twice over, And then I even go back, and I was chatting to somebody else about this the other day, and I was saying to work for your country, to represent your country in any shape or form, to don that green and gold, to sing the anthem, to stand on stages the world over, it's a goosebumpy moment for me, even talking about it right now. It comes with a weight. It's heavy, right?
Yeah.
People look up to these women that stand there and go, I can do that, I can be that. But then at the end of the day, I mean, is all that weight worth it? Is it worth
at
it?
what
Because,
cost?
yes, is it worth it? Because what? I play with my heart on my sleeve. I leave everything out here. I play with grit and determination, and I want to win, and I want to do it for my country. But for what? At the end of the day, I'm going to get a pat on my back. Everybody's going to see me at the airport. Then I go back to my club and wait until the next camp. And then we've got to talk about the money owed from the previous one.
Yeah,
For me,
correct.
it's ironic. I don't even know the words to explain, but the weight of playing for your country versus, I'm not saying it should equal the money in the bank account, but I'm just saying, Coach, that there should be some sort of plateau. I give,
Yeah.
the give and the take, and so much is expected and so little is given.
Yeah, that's correct, Romy. I think, you hear the words of Portia Modise. She says it so ever so realistically. She says, yes, I'm standing in front of you guys. Yes, I've got all these records that are broken and my name is there. But when I'm done, I go back to the same situation that I left, that I tried to run away from when I was coming into the national team. So nothing has really changed, in terms of her personal situation, her ways of living or things that she can be able to transform in her life.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
really changes. You just come in, you do what you need to be doing, and then you go out and you are faced with reality. You go back to, if you left, a poverty situation at home, you're coming back to that again.
Correct.
And everybody remembers that. How about you are the national team player, you've just won this, you've just done that. But, as you mentioned, at what cost? I think a lot of these girls, all these countries, they are facing a similar situation, where if you listen to all their stories, it's driven by the hunger to do better for the
Correct.
sport, the hunger to grow and become better, and nothing really comes back besides a thank you. Nothing really comes back besides an accolade, nothing really. And I think that's what's getting to their mindsets. That's what's making them have these tough conversations with themselves as people, not necessarily players, as people, to say, okay, I'm sweating so hard, I'm working so hard, but at what cost? What gives after this?
Yeah.
And in terms of the performances, really, I can only say it's a difficult conversation to have as a coach with the players, because when the players are asking you, you're asking them to play, and they say, but coach, I never got my
Play for
due.
what?
That was, uh, you know, uh, as a coach, what do you say? Do you now have to say, okay, guys, I'm hopping on the same bandwagon with you guys, and I down tools, or it's a
It's
very tough
difficult. No, it
conversation.
is. It is.
Very difficult.
Because, I mean, I cannot assume that 100 Rand for you and I, for example, means the same thing. A
Of course,
hundred
it's
rand
not.
might go further for me. It might not
Yeah,
go for you. You might have all the support you need
yeah,
back at home, whereas I might not have that. You know, and so you cannot put everybody on that same paying field, if you would. But it is difficult, coach. And I'm asking you these questions before we actually get into the nitty gritties, like that 1-all draw, because I kind of feel like this conversation we're having
mm,
is perhaps taking the forefront in the minds, if it is that we could
yeah.
read their minds while they're playing versus the actual football that we're seeing on the field.
Mm,
And this is kind of where my heart is breaking a little bit as a fan of women's football.
correct. I hope we can find ourselves in that on that day in that year where a girl player comes into any competition and the money talks. It's long done. It's long discussed. It's long finalized, and they just perform. The only thing that she needs to be thinking about is how can I elevate? How do I start? And then how do I upgrade it? And then how do I, get it even higher? And how do I finish this tournament at the highest level that I can ever do without really thinking about, oh, I've got this bill. They've been hounding me. They've been calling me. I've been getting emails, and I don't know how I'm gonna settle that whilst I still have to play a tournament or a match in the next couple of hours. I really wish we can be in that day, and that can be talks of history.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
long time ago, this used to happen, and everybody can be like, really?
Yeah.
No, we don't know that. I really wish that could be the issue.
I wish so too, coach. It isn't that. I also think CAF, yes, have pumped more money into it, but
Yeah,
I also think the financial woes at the back of not only South Africa, other teams as well,
yeah.
speak volumes that it almost steals away from what CAF is trying to do. But this is women's football on the continent. Like I said again, South Africa is not immune. Coach, are you happy with Banyana Banyana's midfield? Are you happy with that change in goal? Why? How? As you already said, bit of a question mark around that. And the why did Coach Ellis go ahead with that? And are we fighting hard enough? Because I think with 2 games behind us, one tonight, a lot is expected. A win, a draw, got to go for another win.
Mm. Ramya, I'll just come out and say when we saw the starting lineup, I think I was one of those as well who, had to take a step back and be like,
You
oh,
like double take?
okay. Okay. All right. I thought we did well in the opening match. I thought we were very balanced. The substitutions that were made in that first match also came in. They found the foundation has been laid. It's easy for you to just come out now and be able to play. And I thought, Coach Desmond will want to start strong as well. I think also maybe the spoiled mentality. You watch a Nigeria before you watch Banyana. You see Nigeria starts the same way. You see a Morocco doesn't make any changes to their starting lineup, the winning lineup, and they get the result. So by the time Banyana Banyana plays, you almost expecting the same. These are
Treatment.
the
Yeah.
top teams coached by the top coaches, and you think the thinking should be the same, honestly. And at that moment, game number 2, you haven't really settled or solidified your place in the quarterfinals. So you want to be able to start strong. So I thought, wow, okay. I've never really had a problem with the goalkeeping department, whether the switches were made, because I know the quality of both Andile and Kalen. They are quality in their own right. Andile is strong on one element, Kalen is strong on another element. And most times, or most likely, when the change is being done, you get to see the idea of what is the tactical approach to the match. With Kalen in goals, Coach Des, we want to hold on to the ball a lot, wants to build from the back, wants to be able to, have the enjoyment of those long balls that Kalen is able to distribute. And with Andile, you're going to have leadership, you're going to have organization, you're going to have, the shot stopping. She's brilliant with that. So that's why I'm raising these 2 factors, because I know that they're quality. So
Yeah.
that part wasn't really a
A
stressor
factor.
for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't really a stressor for me. I think the biggest shocker was the other players that were brought in. You take out a Ramalepe, who you know for a fact that will give you that pace on the wing, has already assisted. We saw how brilliantly she did for Jermaine's goal. And you you're saying, okay, are we now going to be approaching the game from the left? Is that what we're doing? Okay. But even if we are approaching it from the left, we are not expecting a Karabo Dlamini to be running up and down the entire match. You need that dual,
Yeah,
performance
pace, yeah.
on the right as well as on the left. So that was my one question, and I was hoping I could be able to see that factor through and through. Um, and then you look at Sibulele Holweni, who for me hasn't really been doing so well for her club, hasn't really been working to the maximal element that we know her to because of an injury that was niggling her in her club. So she comes in, she starts the game, and she's going to play in a very critical position, which is the midfield. And I thought, okay, this is another big question mark. Is she supposed to be the one that's holding our midfield, keeping calm, and also covering that defense? But she's also got an injury, so you know,
Doesn't quite add up.
when
Yeah.
yeah, my mind was really not grasping completely what the coaching staff was what we're trying to do. Um, I think it was Kalen, it was Ramalipe, it was Subulele, and there's a fourth one, Amu Mutau, also being pulled out from the starting lineup. And, also I thought the creativity is also being sucked out. Whew, I really couldn't understand the approach. I had to sit back and actually be able to understand, okay, I wished
Why?
I could call coach just quickly before
Just
the game
explain to
starts
me,
because
please.
my brain is yeah, it's not grasping what's happening. But those changes, honestly, I think the biggest one, honestly, it's always the issue with goalkeeping. Once you make a mistake as a goalkeeper,
Oh, you're going to
unfortunately,
be
it lands into
crucified.
a game.
Yeah, yeah. And I
It's
think
never.
never easy. And I think Kaylin also coming off of a World Cup, and I know her having to experience that backlash, especially on the socials. Coach, time is ticking tonight.
Yes.
I guess we're hoping that Coach Des Ellis reverts back to perhaps a winning formula if we take it from the first game into tonight without any really shocking surprises.
Yeah, I think today, like I said, tonight, it's one of those where none of us will be expecting a loss or a draw. Everybody is expecting
A
Banyana
win.
Banyana to win. We have already made our finals, but it is just that performance that will be convincing, to the masses that are watching. That is necessary. I think if she can be able to put best seven, that that she feels is the best one and is able to deliver, then everything else will follow through. In terms of the next matches. I think the big one is tonight, as I alluded earlier. For her to just be able to answer back to the backlash. I think she's received so much hardship and backlash, especially from the social media. But look, Coach Desiree is an astute coach, so I trust what she's going to be putting together tonight. It should be able to deliver.
It should indeed. Coach, thank you so much. Do we see you on the big screen, small screen, medium screen, any screens tonight?
Yes, I will be there. Catch everything live on SuperSport. We'll be there. We'll be discussing the big game, all the matches that will be taking place tonight because they're taking place at the same time.
Correct.
So we get to enjoy everything. So tonight,
Back
is
to
the big
back.
one.
It's a bumper. Coach Dunga, thank you so very much. Just getting her expertise there in terms of South Africa. What do they need to do tonight? Because a win is a win. And I almost want to say that Coach Des Ellis was perhaps experimenting, if I could use that word, ahead of today's game to see what she's going to do heading into the quarter semis. And we definitely want to see Banyana Banyana in the finals. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, I know. I said we chat him tour and we chat about, the Club World Cup. And please excuse me for putting women's football first. And if it is that you're not a Banyana Banyana fan yet, please do pledge your allegiance for these women that, man, they leave everything out there. And having been embedded with the team for the World Cup, I got firsthand experience of just how hard they work. Hence, me saying, a big fan of women's football. So tonight, support Banyana Banyana. And tomorrow, I promise, we'll ask him to come on and we will digest the FIFA Club World Cup. Promise. Okay? From me to you. I promise. But that is the Monday edition of Not the Sports News. See you tomorrow. Till then, cheerio.